There you go.
Hello out there in the community. It's Jay Graham from Jay's What's Up, and I'm very excited today. We have an interesting show for you. I have Cindy Owen here, and we're going to interview, and she is the owner of Balanced Wisdom. But I just want to ask you a couple of quick questions. Have you ever wondered why sometimes you might feel anxious or you might feel sad? Have you ever thought to yourself, how do I gain control if I'm feeling maybe in a way that I don't want to be? And what is, for example, what does self-acceptance mean? So we're going to get those questions answered today, and I think it's a very important subject, okay? But first, what I'd like to do is, if you can hear me, could you please maybe press the like button or the heart, because you know, sharing is caring, all that kind of good stuff. Just to let us know that you can hear us and things are good. Anyway, so for those who don't know me, my name is Jay Graham, and I'm the owner of H2O Works Canada. Where client care actually is water therapy. I'm also, in terms of, I do national presenting in my particular field. I'm a coach, a nutritional coach, and I also help individuals who might be feeling very high stress and having hormonal changes. So I help that. We're part of a Crack the Code team. And so I can certainly hopefully interview somebody on that particular one as well coming up. But right now, today, we are going to get those questions answered. So what I'd like to do is interview, as I said, I'm going to let everybody know Cindy right here. She's in the Guelph area, which is pretty darn exciting. I'm going to read some of this because she's got lots of accolades. Just saying, she does. She's got lots here. So she's a registered psychotherapist, and she got her degree from McMaster University. She's a certified mindfulness-based cognitive therapy facilitator. Very cool.
Thank you.
Okay, very cool. You also traveled to Japan, where I noticed too that that's where you had a personal journey, I guess, epiphany and a transforming experience, which probably I'm assuming led you. And I do want to get into that because I found that quite fascinating in terms of that. Hi, Sharon. Good to see you. And also too, as we start, can you tell everybody out here in the community what is a psychotherapist?
Okay, good question. Psychotherapist, basically it's talk therapy. Okay. So I work one-to-one with clients. I've also done group work before, but essentially talk therapy for anxiety, depression, grief, any kind of emotion that someone feels that they just need. They need to bounce it off someone, or they need some ideas on how they can cope better, or something's amiss, right? Maybe they're not sure and need someone to help them tease it out.
Okay, and so it's working through maybe past issues or working in the present and carrying everything forward. Yes, very much, very much. I mean, I don't do a lot of work with like trying to fix the past, but certainly we need the past to move forward,
to be able to heal the present and move forward. Absolutely.
That's excellent. Okay, great. And I'd like to know more too about your journey into Japan. Why did you decide to come into this particular field of work? What happened in Japan that made you change or come here? That's interesting.
Yeah, I think because I studied psychology, so I already had my degree in there, and obviously it was the 90s, so nobody was getting jobs in social service.
Right.
And so I went to Japan to teach.
Oh, very cool.
But I'd been through my own therapy, right? I mean, we've all got stuff from our past and from our childhood, and I'd been through my own therapy, and I'd studied it. I had the degree. I'd worked a bit in it. But I always felt that there just was something missing.
Okay.
Right? Like I just had that feeling of, we all have issues from our past, or we're all dealing with something, and then we go into therapy and we get cognitive behavior therapy, or we think, okay, don't think like this, think like that, and then you die.
Right.
Like there was no bigger picture in it.
Right.
And that was like the traditional Western. And I just had this, there's something more, bigger out there.
Right.
And when I was in Japan, someone gave me the book Siddhartha, which is the book about the first Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama.
Nice.
By Hermann Hesse. So I read that book, and it went through his, searching for fulfillment, and he went into, this ultra wealthy lifestyle, and he thought was that, and then he went into a very pious lifestyle. He thought having nothing, that's the way to enlightenment. And then he just discovered the middle way, and it essentially being happy in the present right now and serving others.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find too that when you're in this, like when you like to help people, serving others is such a big key, fundamental point that so many of us come from a center.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. So when I got back, I just started studying it more and more.
Okay. And then you just fell in love, I'm assuming, with it, or you just decided there was a need, or?
It's interesting because I read all the books. So I did the Tara Brach, Radical Acceptance, and Eckhart Tolle, the Power of Now, and A New Earth, and I read all those. And still something was missing. So for me, it was like, well, I'm intelligent. I know all this. So I wasn't doing the practice, right? Or I was, but on a very superficial level. Right. And then, like we all have in life, I just experienced this really, I don't want to say catastrophe, but this event in my life that we all have that was just like pivotal. It's like, and I reached out to a friend who I know just come back from India, and he was teaching Buddhism.
Okay.
So I joined his formal practice, and for the next 10 years I studied with the formal practice, which meant sitting in I used to do the lotus position, that's not anymore. Okay. But sitting with, thoughts and observing them and getting to know my mind.
Good for you.
And it was just, and that's where, so I've been doing that for about 13 years now. Okay. And I did get the mindfulness and the cognitive therapy, but that's more of what my therapy is. It's mindfulness based. It's that higher, more bringing the spiritual in with the Western.
Excellent. Now, we're in a very fast-paced society. So do you see a need that people are really kind of all over the place and they need to come back into center? Is that a big focus?
Absolutely. We're a society now that we live in our heads. Yeah. Right? And all this electronic stuff, which I never grew up with in the 80s.
I'm with you, girl.
Right? But even now, I'm thinking, I'm attached to my phone sometimes. I kind of think how, I've got a sore neck, and it's like, oh, I've been on my computer and all this. Right. But there's so much media, so much social media, so much advertising. I mean, I went to a restaurant one time and went to the bathroom, and there was advertising on the mirror as I was washing my hands. It's everywhere, and we live in our heads. And because we've evolved, and we've got this prefrontal cortex brain, and we think we're intelligent, we try to solve everything. Oh, I'm feeling sad, so therefore I should fix it. Okay. When sometimes we just need to be, with the sadness or, the grief or the anxiety or the depression, and only by being with it can we really come into some clarity and how to heal ourselves, how to. And this is the one big thing I've noticed with living in our heads. We don't have any compassion or kindness for ourselves. We are a society that lives in, and let me know if I'm talking too much. Sorry.
You go right ahead, girl, because I think this is a huge point. How many of us what do we say to ourselves when we talk to ourselves? And is it kind?
And usually it's not. And there is $1 billion industry out there that wants you to feel as bad about yourself as you can, because then you will buy their products and you will buy their cars, and that's what will make you better.
Wow.
Right? So I actually dove deep into compassion, teaching learning about self-compassion, which was hard to learn because it's easy to have compassion for everybody else. Right. But we don't have it for ourselves.
We do sometimes put ourselves last, and which not necessarily we should. But I don't know if it's whether a parent or as we get older, or I don't know what it is, but it's true. We take care of others around us, and then our teacup kind of cracks, and then we're in trouble because I can no longer serve.
Yeah. Right? And that's interesting because self-compassion is still like we serve others, but also acknowledging that sometimes, this is hard.
Yes.
It's not about taking a bubble bath or taking time out. It's just about, this is hard. Right. And having a little bit of kindness like you would for another friend that, this is, it's not fun.
Yeah, and then you just put it on yourself and you learn and you grow and you deal and you, I guess, take responsibility and learn, I'm assuming, skill sets or strategies?
I guess so. Just, it's less about that than a way of being. Okay. Right? Being able to kind of come into what is in the present moment. Yes. And that could be, this is really hard, this is sad, or even coming into the present moment. It sounds very simple. Right. And this is where I'm going to get off topic for a bit here. Okay. It's okay. This is where I get a bit hard because mindfulness is so trendy, right? And a lot of people are going away and they're taking a 5-day course and they're saying to me, well, I teach mindfulness. So that's my pet peeve, and I'll keep that to myself.
Hot button.
Yes, hot button. Absolutely. The thing is, sometimes we come into the present moment. It really sucks. Right? Our minds can be swirling and we're thinking, well, I just have to focus on the table. I just focus on the table, the present moment, and I'm going to be okay. Well, no, because in the back of the mind, it's still going.
Right.
So we have to be with all that stuff.
Okay.
It's screaming to come out. So we have to let it come out and be with it with kindness.
Okay.
And really, it's about a different way of being. Whatever's here is what is here. Right? Let's notice it.
Yes.
Let's become aware of it.
Create awareness.
Stop pushing it away. Stop grasping, or stop like the aversion.
Right.
And sometimes the present moment is sad. Sometimes it's angry.
Right.
Sometimes the present moment is writing a to-do list of what needs to be done in a certain situation.
Right.
It's different all the time.
Okay. Now, you said journaling, right? Is that something that can be offered to people if they're feeling a specific way to assist them?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah. Sometimes that's a very good way to get it out of here.
Right.
And on paper.
Okay.
And then a lot of times when we're able to read it, maybe even the next day, it can be like, whoa.
That's where I was at. Where did that come from or something, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell everybody out here, our viewership, like what maybe say 5 or 7 or benefits, for example, right, of this kind of help or therapy for an individual if they're feeling a certain way? Like, what are the benefits for coming in?
I think a lot of the benefits is that it can really help individuals slow down, right? And we get into a lot of, we spend most of our life on automatic pilot.
We do.
Right? Yeah. We just go, and a lot of the ways that we are and our beliefs and our perspectives come from the past. And a lot of those don't serve us anymore in the present, but they're familiar and they're safe.
Okay.
Right? And sometimes that devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Right. So what mindfulness does, it helps us slow down and really go in and look and think, oh, yeah, there's still that little bit of anger I'm holding on to. Or there's a lot of anger I'm holding on to. And we can go back to those places and accept them. Okay. Because sometimes the brutal experiences in life are that life is not fair.
Right.
It's not fair, right? And we can't make it fair, right? How do we take it and be with ourselves in what is going to be healthiest for us today?
Good.
That could be doing grieving work.
Okay.
A lot of grieving work, especially for people who've had a traumatic childhood. You know, grieving for that lost time, right? That lost child.
Can't get it back, or that child. Yep.
You can't get it back.
Can't get it back. So, moving forward.
And that's where a lot of compassion comes in. And it just can, I know I've got a lot of bad habits. Like my go-to thoughts sometimes are like, oh, this is just a waste of time. Oh my God. And that's once I catch that, I can do something about it.
That's right.
But it's really helping us just sit. And yes, we do go into the past. And we have to look at the stories that we've adopted and told ourselves, right? Especially if we're the angry person or the victim or the depressed person. Let's look at those stories, get down to the facts, right? And kind of reinvent, remake things.
That's excellent. So in a way, in a concept, an individual does need to take responsibility.
Absolutely.
Which is important, right? Especially
and very hard.
Yes, right. Well, if you're coming from a specific belief, or as you said, or experience based on beliefs or how you've been raised, I'm a victim or something along those lines, you've got to start to change that and taking responsibility, creating awareness.
Yes.
And then going, okay, now how do I go forward, right?
That's where the compassion comes in, because if we don't know back then, we didn't know what we didn't know.
That's right.
Right? But sooner or later, and that's why I do love mindfulness, because it does bring us into responsibility. How am I creating my own reality right now?
Yes.
You know, what's my part in it? Only that part is the part that you have control over, right?
Yes.
And and letting go of, you know, if they just did this, or if they were just like this, or if, you know, this just happened, you know, what's my role in it?
Right.
And that's where I can do something about it.
So it's taking ownership, right?
Yeah.
Right? Being responsible. And then, like I'm saying, when I say be responsible, I'm saying I'm creating awareness. I have a role to play.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying when we going through this.
It's not blame. Yeah, you're right.
It's not
you're
blame.
Right. That's perfectly. It's not blame. It's just this is how I played into it,
Right.
or what I've known.
Right. Which is the awareness piece, which is very cool. And I think a lot of us sometimes, as you say, we play the little devil advocate, in our brain, or we may not be so kind to ourselves and things like that. I think some of us have all played that role. And I just like to tell them to go away, and I flick them off my shoulder if it comes into my place. Just
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's just a little habit thing that's come up.
Right.
Right? So you go, oh, there's that thing. And you flick it.
I sometimes swear, but hey,
that's
go away.
Okay. It's like that. And what we're doing is we're breaking that attachment, right? So a thought comes up, right, on your shoulder or whatever, and it's something that's negative, or it's something that's not serving you, or it's something from the past. And what we often do is we buy into that thought because I think it must be real.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to looking at it as just an old thought and letting it pass.
Cool.
Right? Because when we buy into it, we attach and we go down this rabbit hole of wanting to figure out, why did this come up now? How can I fix it? How can I make it go away? Which brings us down that path again.
Okay.
And mindfulness is saying, just notice that old habit.
And then,
just notice it and let it and watch it pass.
Cool.
Right? And if it really keeps coming up, then you know it needs to be paid attention to.
Okay.
Right? There needs to be some healing in there for maybe some understanding or forgiveness or letting go or detachment.
That's an excellent question. So if it keeps coming up, and then you said it may need to be addressed, how often or maybe how long in a situation like that before I go, okay, I'm creating awareness, it's happening, what would be like a length of time, if there's any length of time that you might say this, you might have to go at this point?
I don't know if there's any length of time, because it's just like becoming aware and like this kind of a practice of coming into awareness and getting to know your own mind is lifelong.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes things are going on smoothly and then stuff happens, stuff comes up. Okay. But I would think if things are coming up, and if you drop into your body and you're really feeling it in your body and it's triggering things, then I think it needs to be paid attention to.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because I think our bodies are wiser than we are.
We just don't listen.
We don't listen.
We don't listen a lot.
Absolutely. So a lot of times we'll say things to ourselves, right? And if it's something that we've worked on in therapy or we worked on in ourselves, that's great. We can sit with it, feel where it triggers in the body, and then just place our hands on that area, or bring to mind that area. Just breathe some kindness into it. Even saying, "This is old. Okay. It's okay. I'm safe. I'm warm. I'm loved."
So affirmations.
Love them.
Love affirmations. I'm a big fan of affirmations too, and especially as you say, kind, compassionate, and what you can become into. I think that's excellent. And I think it's really important for people who are on a journey. And if you're working with, Cindy, or you're doing a journey, understand it takes courage to move forward. And I think the total act of, again, creating awareness, that bravery, because you now have to do things that you've never done before to become the person that you want to be.
Absolutely.
And that is being courageous, I think.
Hugely so.
Yes.
Because it's also looking deep within and noticing the not so nice parts of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's you're so right. It takes a very brave person.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to live in denial and just
this
go
is
about
easy
pretending it doesn't happen?
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's the easier way out.
That's right. Life is, sometimes you have to pass through things that are challenging to get to the other side, and then that's all when you go, yes, that was worth it.
Yeah.
This is what I want to do, and this is moving forward.
Absolutely.
That's very cool. I also wanted to mention, so Cindy has her website, which is called balancedwisdom.com.
One word.
It's all one word, right? And on there, because I was on there, you have a reference or referrals tab. On
the resources.
The resource tabs.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that there were a lot of books in there. And right at the top when you come in, there's actually what's called a daily review. So can you maybe expand on, if they go into that, what does that daily review, what can it do? What's its purpose? How can it help?
Yeah, because actually I noticed I'm having my website all changed and redone right now.
Yeah.
So, but I did notice when I was on there, when you mentioned it, I went, there's no explanation for that whatsoever. And what it was is,
It's a cool piece.
really what we're doing is we want to plant daily seeds, right? If we look at our mind as a garden, right, we need to look at the seeds we've planted, the seeds that we've nurtured, and what is growing in the mind of in the garden of our mind, right? So the daily review is, and I do this with a lot of with the clients that I do therapy with, is this is a great metaphor of the mind as a garden. So this is why we need to be purposeful in planting seeds every day, right? If you want to grow your muscle, you do weights every day, every other day. If you want to grow the muscle, that's your mind, you plant the seeds, right?
Excellent.
Your mind's a muscle. So the daily review is just, it can be done before bed or, in the evening or whatever, whenever you want, actually. It helps to do these things at the same time every day because that creates the habit.
Yes.
So the first one is mindful moments. So we're calling back on the day of any time that you felt you were quite present, what you noticed, right? Whether it was your cat stretching in the sun, or even if it was unpleasant, right? I was cleaning the toilet, right? And I was complete, right? Just that where you dropped into, you knew you were fully present, and just remembering those because pleasant moments, the present moment is not always pleasant, right? And we can be with it, right? Because, and I use the toilet example because it's something that I do not like.
I don't know how anybody would like to, so.
But then you've got that satisfaction after. So looking at what it felt, what you experienced in that moment, and then the next moment when there's that difference, right? It's all just being present as things. Losing my word. As things play out, So a mindful moment can be anything, and then an act of kindness, because we talk about serving others, right? So reviewing any act of kindness that you did that day, and an act of kindness could be opening a door for someone. Like it doesn't have to be huge. It could be shoveling your walkway, right? It could be doing a mantra for someone else. May they be well. May they be peaceful and at ease.
Yes.
Right? We think of these huge things, like I pulled some away from a burning building.
Right.
And it doesn't, the small things. When I was first learning mindfulness and going through a lot of my teachings, I was going through quite a bad depression.
Okay.
And my teacher said, if you see a pen lying on the floor, have in mind that someone could trip over it and pick it up.
Right.
That's an act of kindness. That's all you need to do. If that's all you do, that's enough.
Right.
So literally for weeks, I would search for pens all over the floor.
Just in case.
Well, just in case. And it was the one thing that I could actually do, right? Rather than being in my head, it was something that I could do. So those acts of kindness, and I do say, if sometimes we're in that space where we can't even think any really good things about ourselves, then call upon an act of kindness you saw someone else do.
Nice. Good. I like that too.
Yeah. Someone
really
held
nice.
the door open for you. Oh, this person did.
Yeah. And responding probably to thank you and stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for yourself. And then the other one is gratitude.
I like that one.
Gratitude. Yeah. It's just having gratitude for what you have. And in that moment, right, because sometimes it's really hard to have it. It could just be that I'm in my bed right now.
That's right.
Gratitude for my bed. Gratitude that I'm still here. Gratitude that I've got heat.
Yes. A roof.
A roof, right? And even in extreme circumstances, right? And sometimes gratitude that you're taking care of yourself right now. Gratitude of the ability, and even though it doesn't feel like it, the power that you have, that you're actually being active in your own healing.
Good.
Right? And then the last one is intentions for tomorrow.
Okay.
Right? So it's really good to set intentions every day.
Yep.
And those intentions, like I said, could be anything. So I know, actually it's funny because I've just, and I don't know how because I had my shots, but I've got shingles now.
Okay.
The irritability has been just unbelievable. So I promised I wouldn't snap your head off. But, but right now, because I know it's the shingles, right? I'm extra irritable. So my intention every day is to do no harm. Right?
That's important, thank goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, so just to know that it's coming from me. Oh, I just touched my mic, sorry. Just to know that it's coming from me. You know, it's not everybody else out there trying to,
Right.
you know, come in to get me, or they just won't do things right.
Right.
And do no harm. Right? So that's, and then other intentions could be, I'm going to pick up a pencil whenever I see it. Or intention could be, you know what, I want to reach out to one person today. Or intention could be anything.
Thank you. I would think
Saying
just saying thank you for just, again, as you say, being here and being in the moment and what you have. I think
Absolutely.
that's excellent.
Yeah.
No, it really is. You also have an online component, I believe. That
I do.
Is it beta still? Is it still
No,
testing? Is it live? Like, what does that mean for people?
Well, the beta testing is done, and what it is, it's a 4-session course with different modules on compassion, self-compassion. What is self-compassion? Why we need it? Why we don't give it to ourselves as much as we should?
Okay.
And then how to start creating it, and how to start having it more for others. We really can't have full compassion for others until we have it for ourselves. That's what I believe.
Right.
And I think a lot of times when we don't have it for ourselves, a lot of our compassion for others is really like pity.
Oh, yes, big difference there.
Yeah, big difference. So it's that, however, it's being completely redone.
Okay.
So this is the good thing. If people want it and they want to
Yes.
experiment with it, it's a very low price right now. When it's redone, I don't know what the price is going to be like.
Okay.
But it was my first attempt.
Yes, that's
Which
good.
I'm very, yeah.
You got to start. You got to do. You got to do.
Exactly. So I'm very proud of it.
Good.
But I'm revamping it. It's going to be much longer. It's going to include things like gratitude, acts of kindness, dedication.
Excellent.
And it's going to have more to do with the garden of the mind and
Yes.
the seeds that we plant.
Yes.
With
We're still on.
Okay, we're still on.
Woo-hoo. We just had a blip, folks. It was like, what was that?
I
It
know.
just kind of blipped. Anyway, moving forward. So we have the online, yes, and they can still go again to balancewisdom.com, and that's where it is. if
Yeah,
they
you
need.
you can click the link on there.
Perfect.
I can't remember what it says.
That's okay. You know, yeah. So
Yeah.
again, just thinking in terms of process and moving forward, and somebody says, you know what, I might find myself in these situations. Moving forward, I know I have to create awareness, and I need help in getting to where I need to go to become the new person that I want to be. Do they just go straight to the website and they have your information and they can contact you? Is that the process?
Then go straight to my website, and my phone number and my email address is there. So
Perfect.
it's 519-824-5990.
Okay.
And the email, I'm just saying this out there because I know they're doing things with the old website and the new mindset behind the scenes.
And they're-
so if it's down, but it's a CB, so Cindy Balanced at balancedwisdom.com.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I have the course, and I do one-to-one therapy.
Excellent.
And it's for, and I love it because the people who come to me, they're very open, right?
Yeah.
Their minds are ready for something.
They're ready for the
different.
change.
They're ready for the change.
Good.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know what, you can't help anybody unless they're ready for the change, right?
Absolutely.
And they have to be, yes, willing to move forward in that aspect, which is excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I am going to have, in the description when we're done, I'll be putting the website in, contact information. So if anybody wants to get a hold of Cindy, it'll be right there. Also, too, if you like what you've heard, please make a comment. If you know somebody who might find this information valuable, if you know somebody you love and care for, you know what, just tag them. It doesn't hurt, and that way they can also then take a look at it and make a decision on their own. Okay. So, Cindy, thank you so much
Thank you.
for coming in. Thank you, everybody out there. Again, we're finishing up here, and I just wanted to say, you know what, collaboration is cool. I think we need to do more of it, and we need to help each other out here, okay? So everybody, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you.
Bye. Stay warm.
Bye-bye.